Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me here today. I'm so glad you watched. Thank you for watching. If you are watching, let me know. Click like, uh, leave a comment, get on Google, leave a review. I don't know. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know that this is a good thing that we're doing here and that it's worth doing. So anyways, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. The support means a lot. I know I hear from some of you and it can encourage me to keep going. So we will keep doing this at least till the end of the year, and we'll see after that what shakes down. Because we want to get through the whole Bible this year. We are behind, so let's get going. Think about norms, right? Have you ever disrupted the norm, shaken things up a little bit, raised some eyebrows for a noble cause? That was my favorite thing to do as a youth pastor. Now I try to avoid that. It's just sit in a different chair. I think my job as a youth pastor was to shake things up. But now it's a little different. But I still like shaking things up from time to time, though. But Jesus definitely did this, and the Pharisees hated it. In fact, when it came to the Sabbath, Jesus often shook things up when it came to the Sabbath, and the Pharisees hated it. They consider themselves to be the lords of the Sabbath. They created hundreds of rules and even wandered around looking for people to accuse who did not conform. And Jesus made it clear that they were not from God and declared that he was the Lord of the Sabbath. Jesus allowed his disciples to pluck wheat and to eat when they were hungry. He healed the crippled man's hand, opposed what the Pharisees deemed appropriate Sabbath activities. So there was this constant disapproval from the Pharisees, and Jesus is constantly pushing them to try to get them out of this norm. Let's read here from Luke chapter 6. It says, "Then Jesus said to his critics, 'I have a question for you. Does the law permit good deeds on the Sabbath, or is it a day for doing evil? Is this the day to save lives or to destroy it?' Then he looked around at them one by one and said to the men, 'Hold out your hand.' So the man held out his hand, and it was restored. At this, the enemies of Jesus were wild with rage." That is quite the description. Wild with rage, and began to discuss what to do with him. So yeah, the disciples, the Pharisees are shook here, and Jesus goes right at them. They were so caught up and concerned, thinking Jesus was being heretical, that their stubborn and prideful hearts couldn't see that he was actually holy. Jesus had come as their long-awaited Savior, but they refused to humble themselves and surrender to his lordship. I tried to think before hitting record what this translates like today, and I think that there's like a bazillion different ways that it can translate. Very, very current word. But for me as a pastor, I hear things from different generations, and it's just interesting because it's based off of what people are used to experiencing. And so the Pharisees have like hundreds and hundreds of years of all these rules and things that they've compiled, and that's what they did. They just did it the same way all the time, and that's if you didn't do it that way, then you were doing it wrong. And I think we see a little bit of that today. I talked to some people that they go into a modern worship service and they hold their ears and they say that it's super loud. People say that here sometimes, and I'm like, I look at the decibel meter and it's like 85 decibels. Like I went to a concert the other night at the BOK Center in Tulsa, and I pulled up my decibel meter just out of curiosity, and it's like 110 to 115 decibels sustained. I guess not healthy. They should not experience that. And I think it's just because it's different. It's, maybe you were raised where it was just a piano that cannot produce that kind of sound. And it's just people singing hymns, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is there's nothing wrong with it. I go into a service, and when the lights are up, I'm thinking, man, I wish they'd turn these lights down so people aren't like looking at me. But people say, be in a service where they turn the lights down, they think, man, I wish they'd turn these lights up so I can see all my brethren worshiping, so see this unity going. And it's just what you're used to. If it's quiet, I don't like singing because I don't want people hearing me sing. If I don't want to be focused on my key and my pitch and trying to be not embarrassing. I want to worship. I just want to lift my hands and be in the moment and not worry about what other people are thinking. But people don't see it that way, and they see it another way. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different. And so whatever the norm is that you're used to, let's try to put ourselves in experiences where you're doing something different and see if you can still worship the Lord despite things being different. If you can do that and you are focused more on the Lord than in your norms, man, I think that's really great. Many of us today get so sidetracked by these religious rituals that we miss out on an authentic relationship with Christ. If we're pursuing authenticity with Christ, I think a lot of that other stuff becomes very secondary. So don't let anything keep you from an authentic relationship with Christ and pursue Him with all of your heart. Hope this has helped.